Hey guys, so today we're just going to be making a vegetable garden bed, and so I'm just going to draw out my little gardening area real fast here. And I've got a broccoli bed right now that's coming to an end, and so I'm going to draw that guy, and the new bed we're going to build today next to it. Then sketch out the rest of my garden here. Got 16 feet by 3 foot bed is what we're going to be doing today, with 2 foot spacing between that and the bed next to it, the broccoli bed. And then these guys over here, grapevines, and then I've got some fruit trees back behind that. And then, so the bed today, we're going to be making a little raised hump essentially with 2 cedar posts holding down some plastic tarp, weed barrier, and then we're going to do a staggered planting pattern. So the next thing we're going to talk about today is fertility. And the most important things for fertility, of course, is going to be our nitrogen, our phosphorus, and our potassium. And those are going to be our macronutrients. We still have micronutrients, but we'll worry about those another day. And so we're going to draw our bed real fast again here. We've got 3 feet by 16 feet for a total square foot of 16 times 3 feet, which is going to give us 48 square feet. We're going to calculate our total amount of nitrogen today that we're going to be using, which is blood meal, which has an application rate of 2 pounds per 100 square feet. So we're going to do our math here. 2 over 100 equals x over 48. Cross multiply 2 times 48 divided by 100 is going to give us our total amount of blood meal today, which is going to be 0.96 pounds. And a bag is about 2.75 pounds, so we're going to use about a third of a bag today. And then the next thing up on our list is going to be potassium. Really what's next up on the list is going to be phosphorus. Which today is going to be bone meal, and which has an application rate of 5 to 7 pounds for like bed plants, like flowers and stuff, per 100 square feet. And then for vegetables, which what we're going to be doing today is 2 pounds per 30 square feet. So we're going to do our math. 2 over 30 equals x over 48, and then we're just going to 2 times 48 divided by 30 is going to give us our x today of 3.2 pounds, and then a bag is about 4 pounds. Next up, we're finally going to do our potassium, and our potassium source today is muriate of potash, and which has an application rate of ½ pound per 100 square feet. So here we go again, do our math, cross multiply, it's going to give us our x value of 0.24 pounds, which is going to be about ½ a cup, I think. And then so it's going to be a bag is 4 pounds. Let's do some more math here, which is going to give us our actual elemental values of NP and K, which is 0.12, 0.14, and 0.12. So we have an overall analysis of 12, 14, 12. Alright, well, isn't math fun? Okay, so some things we're going to use today are basically just a shovel, some scissors, some gloves, some eyewear, and I'm going to use some peat and perlite today to kind of get some aeration in my bed, and then the fertilizer we talked about just now. So I'm just going to go through and break up the native soil, get it all loosened up and ready to be mixed with all of the soil I've got laying on top here. The soil laying on top is actually a bunch of old potting soil that I've been using to kill the grass underneath it. And now we're going to go through, mix that in, and then we're going to come in, throw in the peat, the perlite, and then the fertilizer, and some more peat, and then mix it all together, and then that'll basically be the bed ready to go. And when you're mixing this, think about it more like tossing a salad, not so much like trying to create a solution down to the molecule. As long as it's roughly all mixed together pretty well, you should be pretty good. And so now that we've got that done, I'm going to go get my safety goggles, put that on, and then go and put my gloves on. The perlite can be a little bit of an irritant, and so I'm going to wear those while I spread that. And then I'm going to get the perlite or the peat spread. And then now that we've turned the bed a couple of times, it should start to get easier to mix all of this material together. And we're just going to sit here and kind of get it mixed up again real fast here. So a few more pointers for your beds. They should usually be oriented north-south or along the contour line, which is basically parallel with the elevation of the hill or whatever it is you're putting your garden bed on. My area is flat, and then I've got my beds oriented in a north-south fashion, and then they're raised just slightly a little bit there, just so that way, you know, if there's ever heavy rains and the soil is saturated, the crown of the plant will be out of that sort of watery, suffocating area and have some oxygen to breathe still. Alright, now we're going to go ahead and add the fertilizer, and then we're going to, once we get that all done, come through and cover that with one last layer of peat, and then go and give that one really good last mix. And then something else to talk about too is like bed dimensions. Some common things to do is like 4 foot wide by like 20 feet long, 10 foot long beds, or even like doing 2 foot wide beds and doing them like 100 feet long. You can do kind of whatever you want, and just think about how you want to maintain it, how far across the bed you want to reach, and all that sort of stuff like that. And then it'll kind of naturally lend you to a dimension that you're going to feel really comfortable with. Right, and then we're just going to come through and rake up all the green material and get that out of here and level the bed, and we are just about all done. Alright guys, well I hope you are getting a good start to your new year, and there's JFK quote I always think of around this time of year, and so I'll play that for you while I wrap up everything else.
For I have sworn before you and Almighty God the same solemn oath our forebears prescribed nearly a century and 3/4 ago. The world is very different now, for man holds in his mortal hands the power to abolish all forms of human poverty and all forms of human life. And yet the same revolutionary beliefs for which our forebears fought are still at issue around the globe. The belief that the rights of man come not from the generosity of the state, but from the hand of God. And so, my fellow Americans, ask not what your country can do for you, ask what you can do for your country.